Hello, 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 and welcome back to The Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. (2021) Astroworld, Profit over People. In this episode, me and my young guest discuss our thoughts around 2021's tragedy at Astroworld, the music festival that was the brainchild of Travis Scott, where 10 people lost their lives as a result of the event, while hundreds more were injured. Why hold a concert of that magnitude in the middle of a pandemic where people were clearly not social distancing? And also, given Travis Scott's track record of inciting reckless behavior, who should be held accountable for this tragedy? First of all, it's like, why is there a concert going on in the middle of a pandemic of that size, of that magnitude?
I swear they forgot about it. I think everyone's just, not everyone, but like a lot of people are just, COVID's over kind of.
Really?
That's the mentality. Yeah. Yeah, like I really don't see that many people like social distancing or like worrying about masks that much. Especially with like my generation, like those concerts, I'm not surprised they're filled up.
Yeah.
But these are the same people that would probably do it even at peak pandemic time anyways. They were never like scared of it.
They're saying how a major driver of this festival is his merch line. I think behind Supreme, remember the Supreme line?
Mm-hmm.
He was named, I think he was right behind them as like the best-selling merch, and like I think starting in 2019.
Travis?
Like, yeah. Like he's very he's obviously marketable, but a freaking cat, man. She always does this every time I do a Zoom. She
wants in on the conversation, doesn't she?
No, she needs to get her act together. Okay, you're either in or out. All right, let me open her. Let me go get her real quick, because otherwise we're gonna have meowing throughout this. It's gonna drive me insane. I'll be back.
When he says, "You know what you came here for," it's kind of like, okay, but I'm really into the conspiracy stuff. But there's like some things like they're like, oh, 8 people exactly died because 8 is like a number you have to sacrifice. But there's no telling exactly how many people were gonna die. That's too much of like a open sacrifice. You know, if they're gonna plan something, it's gonna be more organized.
Mm-hmm.
That's where people got too woke, and then people started taking it less seriously. But I know, like on stage, you had like 8 like rings of fire or whatever. So they're like, look, that's him symbolizing the number 8 again. And I was like, I think
different symbols and different numbers. They're interpreted different by different people, because if you turn 8 on a side, it's infinity. You know, and also with the 8 fire pits or whatever. When you think about it, people are saying that how they couldn't breathe. Well, think about it. If you have fire shooting up and it's continually shooting up, fire lives off of oxygen. So if it's taking all the oxygen out of the air, yeah, you can't breathe, especially if you're near the front. And compound that with people pushing in on you from all different sides. It was just like, this was like the perfect storm. I won't say karma caught up with him, because of his past behavior. But again, I don't understand why they put on this concert in the middle of a pandemic, knowing that they sold out tickets months ahead of time, and then he encourages people to break in.
There's a lot of like immaturity, because there's the type of influence and stuff, like what you're gonna say is gonna have like consequences, but then they just still incite stuff. That's what it is. It's just inciting. It's getting everyone hyped, but not in a very safe way. And I think sometimes it's sad to say, but sometimes it takes something like this for people to like maybe take a step back. So I don't know if Travis Scott is going to look at it differently, or he's going to do that thing where people wait till it dies down and then he has another concert and then people forget about it or whatever. I don't know.
I don't think people are going to forget about this for a while. But even though there have been other festivals where people have passed away, this isn't an isolated event. I just think how it feels so callous and calculated. I think that's what's messing with some people.
Because it was like overnight. It wasn't just like it all happened in 5 minutes. It was just like a weird pattern of just wrong after wrong after wrong after ignoring all that stuff.
And then people saying how they're walking the grounds and they kept playing this weird music, And so I was looking into like like frequencies, like if you play something at a certain frequency, how it can affect your behavior. And I remember that when Trump was in office, do you remember when he cleared out Lafayette Park?
For the picture, right?
The picture, yeah. I was listening to NPR and they were saying how people within his cabinet, how they wanted to, they knew that they're going to get protesters. So it's like, how do we deal with them? So someone floated the idea of, I don't know if it was playing something at a certain frequency for crowd control. And so someone said, well, if you play that, if it's too, I think if it's too high, it can change your behavior, make you almost like primal and animalistic. Frequencies do what they do. Frequencies do have an effect on people. And so this technology has always been out there. And this isn't the first time that the government, quote unquote, has used that type of procedures to manipulate human behavior.
I don't know if everyone has a different interpretation of it, but I don't know if it's more fact or opinion, but this could all play into like, people believe in like auras and energy, and you feel that frequency, like it makes you feel like your cells and all that stuff. It's like there's got to be some type of underlying fact, no matter if people believe in like auras and energy or the crystals and all that stuff. It's like at the end of the day, you cannot deny that like our bodies can be influenced by stuff like that. Like it really does change whatever chemical makeup in the moment. And have you ever heard of like Woodstock 99? Like that was a crazy concert. I don't think anyone like died or anything, but it was like people were just acting like, and people were just like acting like animalistic and raging and burning stuff. But it was like the artists and the songs and the energy that the songs were putting out there. It was like you can tell which song would incite the crowd more and stuff like that. But it's like the meaning, it's like whatever feeling in that song. And I think Woodstock is a perfect crazy example when we're talking about this type of topic with like control with just music and the feeling of everything. And then especially when it's like a mass of people, because you're not going to get this with just a little group of people. Like it takes a collective energy. So it's like it has to do with mass control. It's like something everyone had to feel. And a lot of people were saying that they felt some type of like weird energy. I mean, it wasn't enough for a lot of them to leave. I don't know if they're just saying that after the fact, but people were just saying they just felt like an off energy.
Yeah, because I know how I am. If I'm in a situation where I feel the energy's weird, I'm not staying long. That's just me.
I'm too anxious for that. I am. I'm like, I'm out. But it's like you can tell the difference because there's a lot of artists who they'll see a fan pass out. They'll literally stop like the concert temporarily just to make sure they're okay. Like it just takes one. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of excuses being made for Travis Scott. But of course, there's going to be the diehard fans defending him. But I think he lost a lot of fans over this. A lot of people lost respect for him over this.
I mean, yeah, one of my friends said, she's like, I'm so disappointed in him. She's like, I can't look at him the same way. I'm like, a lot of people feel that way right now. Yeah.
Which is good. I just hope that people don't like do what they always do, and over time it's like, oh yeah, that happened.
But they're saying that, he obviously has a website where you can get this merch. But a major driver is that people go there. Some people just go to get merch and then they'll resell it for like 2 or 3 times the retail price. Because at the merch he sells at a festival in particular, they won't sell that anywhere. You can't buy it again.
Oh yeah, it's all about that grab. They make it like you want it there.
Yeah, which goes into this is like a money grab for some people. The
it's
concert,
all marketing.
Profit over people.
And I think that's a pretty good underlying theme for today's discussion because it's like you can kind of tell like someone's like morals and someone's priorities in a way. Because a lot of this, for one, like a concert is that big, and then the organization, all that stuff, like of it all, the security, it's like you can tell that wasn't their number one priority. It was more just getting as many ragers as they could to come on in.
They're called ragers. You guys didn't see this coming? Like he has a history of this. He promotes this. He incites this. So you guys didn't see that coming. And if I'm Live Nation, I'm gonna make sure the insurance behind this is top notch. But again, they didn't pay attention to that.
Because even if you're in the moment as an artist on stage, which is his excuse that he didn't know what was going on in front of him, like you see over everyone. You see when the ambulances were trying to like come in, you see people like gathering around, all that stuff. It's like you have to pick up on some type of clue. But I think he only like does that when it kind of benefits him, because that one incident where like I guess a fan took a shoe and he literally told people in the crowd like jumping, like he, you know. It's like he knows he has control over the crowd, but he just doesn't use it when there's benefit. But then there's another situation where like he was performing, I guess there's like 2 floors, and then a guy was like on the top balcony and he kind of like convinced him to jump off or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. It's a
saw
video of him
clip.
saying, he's like, yeah, I see you, but he's like, are you going to do it? That's
Yeah,
incitement.
and I don't know how true it is, but I heard something like the guy is like he got injured, like he was paralyzed or something like that.
I heard two different versions. I heard one he was pushed off. I heard another one he jumped. But either way, he ended up being paralyzed.
Yeah, and it's like you don't push certain things, especially when you have like teenagers or just young adults in general. They're very influenced if they already look at you as like, you know, and like an idol. And there was like at the recent Astroworld, he was just like, you guys know what you guys came here to do. Like, you know, don't cry now, kind of. But I don't know, not really the right thing to say.
No, it's not. So who do you think? My heart is going out to these victims, and the 9-year-old that's fighting for his life. It's like,
but also,
you know,
what was like a 9-year-old doing in that type of atmosphere?
Well, again, it goes back to how he's marketed. He has these brand deals with Fortnite, McDonald's, different designers, you know, as far as like street merch and sneakers. So the parent, who's probably a fan of his, was like, oh, this is probably, I'm assuming, oh, this is, he likes Travis. I'm going to go, because they have a policy that anyone under 17 has to be accompanied by an adult. I'm not trying to fault him as a parent, but I understand what the concern is. Like, why is a 9-year-old at a concert when you know what kind of history he has with crowd control? But
yeah, I think
I was reading some stuff. He had his son on his shoulders, and this is around time when Drake came out. There's another surge in the crowd, and he just got crushed, and he got crushed with his chest, and his son fell off his shoulders, and he got trampled. How do you trample on a 9-year-old? How do you not know what you're stepping on?
Yeah, it was just too much going on. Like it just has to be such a hectic atmosphere for that to even happen. But then there's a lot of things like crowd surge or like crowd wave, where it's like, especially in such a heavy crowd, you cannot control like the movement. You get pushed, I guess. So it's like maybe they couldn't move. But then I bet a lot of the people that were pushing and the ones raging are a lot of the ones that I feel like are trying to file like lawsuits and stuff like that. But you know, it's the artist, the energy, the crowd, the energy. There's just all sides, and I feel like no one really played their part as much as they probably could, I guess, because there's people breaking down the gates, trying to run, being crazy. There are crazy fans, and then there's like a video, like an ambulance trying to get to a victim, and there's people dancing on top of the ambulance in the crowd. It's like there's the crazy ones. Not all of them are, bad, but it plays like a major part, and no one's going to be on the same page when you got some people going crazy over Travis over here, and then other people like that dad and the son that are just trying to enjoy a good time. But the thing is, I feel like that's where, as a parent and stuff like that, you have to do your research on where you're going. I know Travis, like Fortnite, that's like a bit of like a younger audience and all that stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, he's a rapper. And I feel like if you know Travis, you know the majority of his audience is teenagers and up, I guess, and then his history. So even if my kid was a huge fan of Travis because of Fortnite and stuff, I still I just don't think that's the type of atmosphere I would even want to bring them into. They can watch it like live on YouTube later or something like that.
A quick programming note about the victims of this tragedy. At the time, me and my guests were discussing this, 9-year-old Ezra Blount was still in the hospital fighting for his life. And as I'm sure you guys are all aware by now, he has since passed away. R.I.P. little Ezra. I heard those ticket prices were ridiculous.
How much?
Like I heard as low as like 300, as high as 500, if not more.
Oh, I wouldn't even be surprised. But with that much money, you would think they would have more security or more whatever
Right.
in place. Yeah.
But then again, I heard someone make a good point that with the great resignation going on, all these jobs, there's a lack of jobs everywhere. So how everything is short on labor, and so therefore, this festival is a byproduct of that, byproduct of the shortage of laborers and not being able to employ certain positions. But then again, to me, that's
Yeah.
an excuse. You knew this
Yeah,
was
like if you don't have
happening,
enough, yeah,
right? Then you need to
don't
cancel
do
it,
it.
right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you can tell where the priorities were because I know this was gonna be a big event. Everyone's like all excited. Travis is like one of the biggest, artists right now, but still like don't just live up to the hype. You need to do what you need to do to make sure it's like a safe environment. You shouldn't go to a concert and like not come back. And then Kylie Jenner, did you hear like I guess I didn't see it for myself, but I guess she got like in trouble as well because she posted something and it's like you can see the ambulance in the crowd and then
Yeah,
she
I
like
saw
shortly
that.
deleted it after.
I saw that. Yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
like
People, the thing where you have to be responsible. Even with social media, you have to be responsible. Once you put something
mhm.
out there, even for a split second, you have so many followers that they follow everything you post, everything you say. Someone's going to snapshot that. So even if you think
Mhm.
it's deleted, it's still out there.
Especially when you have influence, like you're one of the
Yeah.
main people. Yeah.
Yeah. The internet has a history as everything, it has a memory of everything. Everything.
Hmm. Yeah, you just have to like think of the context before you post. Like, what kind of message are you sending? Like, oh, this is expected at a concert. And I know people pass out at concerts and stuff, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
when it's multiple or when the crowd is chanting something like "stop the show" or whatever. It's like a different type of energy. But apparently, everyone that's backing up, like Travis was saying, like he can't hear from up there and stuff.
Maybe not here because he had earpieces, but at one point
Hmm.
he was on a raised platform. So he saw
Hmm.
out. And again, if he
Yeah.
saw the ambulance there and he stopped it for a minute and said, hey, you know, paraphrasing, of course, like take care of that. And
Hmm.
again, he knows how much influence he has over his crowd, over those kids. He knows what he's doing, like you said, but he only does it when it works to his benefit.
Like I think he likes it, like the craziness. And
He
there are some
does.
artists and fans that like craziness. They like rages and mosh pits and like go do your own thing. But when it's a big event like this, not everyone's on that same type of crazy level. Then you get people that get hurt like that. Like I think you should definitely keep that type of thing separate.
Yeah,
Um,
speaking of the messaging that they're putting out there, what did you think of the promotion, the ads and the flyer, the merch, the shirt that he wore on stage? Like there's so much
mhm.
controversy around all this stuff. Like
There's
for
a
instance,
lot
the
of weird
shirt he
things.
wore, it was like these blue, I don't know if they were kids or individuals, but they go through a door, a portal, and then they come out
Hmm.
like with this red hornish looking image or whatever. Like people were saying, oh, they're
Yeah.
taking kids and they're converting them into devils, whatever.
Yeah, like I kind of like that people are pointing stuff out because sometimes things are too much of a coincidence or a repeating pattern for it to be like, oh, you just think you're woke or you think like you're onto something. It's like there's too many coincidences. But Travis has always given me like a weird, it's like satanic vibe to him, like in him and his music or him and his merch. I think like him, and then there's like Lil Uzi Vert, and then there's just other like artists where it's like their songs or their energy they give out is very like demonic in a way.
It's
And
dark.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like Travis Scott's whole aesthetic is that kind of weirdness to it, some dark meaning. And then I always feel like it's always like it feels like some type of cult ritual or whatever because they have like Astroworld and Stormy World, and it's like this big thing with their face and you have to like walk through their mouth. It's like this whole like they idolize themselves in a way, and then when you get to the stage they have like one eye or an owl burning or whatever. It's like you guys know what you're doing, and I think
Mm-hmm.
we're starting to catch on too.
Like I think his next I think it's a mixtape or something, but it's titled Dystopia. And it's like,
Oh yeah, I
bro, do you
saw
know what
that.
dystopia means? Yeah, but he's always because I looked at some of his lyrics
Mm-hmm.
and it left much to be desired, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to lyrical content with substance, I'm like, what is
Mm-hmm.
he talking about? But I
Yeah.
notice how they hook you with the beats and the melody,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So and he's not the only artist that does this. A lot of them do this. they're not really saying anything, but once that music gets you and that hook gets you, it's like they could pretty much be saying, but by that time,
yeah,
it's already in your head.
There's a lot of younger audiences that, like you said, they just pay attention to the beat, so they play that, they like that, but they don't always listen to the lyrics. And sometimes like rappers will just throw like something weird or something that sounds like it's like hinting at something more sinister in a way, and then they just like look past it. They're like, oh, they mean something else. But I feel like there's always hints.
Yeah,
like the dystopia thing, you think he doesn't know what that word means, it's like that's the whole theme and stuff going on. Or the thing at his concert where it was like, see you on the other side, people were like, no, he means like the other side of the festival or whatever. But it's like, I don't know, it's like the feeling you get from it is like weird. I feel like there's a deeper meaning than just this stuff, because he can say a bunch of other stuff, but no, they always say something that's like ominous. What wasn't ominous or had substance though was their apologies, because that was just embarrassing.
That wasn't even an apology. Just not even an apology.
He didn't apologize. He's like, we're working with the police. Just rubbing his head. I wouldn't have even put that out there. I'd rather stay silent until I got together what I wanted to say.
Yeah, like Drake, for instance, Drake kept quiet for a while, but then he eventually said something. But Drake's statement, it felt more. I mean, it could be PR, but it had more substance to it than Travis. Travis didn't even look at it. He barely even looked at the camera. He kept rubbing his head, closing his eyes. Yeah. So there was a detachment there. It's like it didn't feel genuine.
Yeah, there was like a bother to him. But they're like, that's just his personality. No. I didn't even see Drake's apology. I was kind of just done looking for him because they all sound the same in a way.
Yeah, no.
Like Kylie's, Travis Scott's, like, oh, where prayers go out to the families. But like everyone says that. Like, you guys are the biggest influences right there. I think they should have way more substance than that. And didn't Drake go to like the club? He spent like $1 million at the club that night after all that went down. Apparently he like went to like a strip club.
I didn't hear that. I heard they went to an after party. I don't know if that's the same one, but
I heard about the after party, but I just like on one of like the news channels that keep up with those social media things, like it was like Drake spent $1 million at like a club, I guess like later that night. I don't know how, I don't know how true all this stuff is, but
yeah.
Sometime I think that past that weekend, that same weekend. So it's just kind of like you heard what was going on, but you're still, okay. But without like any bias and stuff, if something has already happened at a concert and stuff, how much do you think like the artist should like act on that? Like, should they like not be seen out in public? Should they not post anything for a while? Should they talk about it? Should they act like normal since it's already done? Like, how do you think they should be acting?
Everyone responds differently to tragedy and grief. I know it doesn't look right with his quote unquote apology. It just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I know everyone is different, but I think with him, I mean, there was a pressure for him to say something. He has to address this. In some instances, your PR people, they want you to get ahead of it before, the public of the court of public opinion starts to form. But I mean, you literally had this instance where people were, and that's just this generation, they're live recording this on TikTok and Instagram or whatever. So we see what's going on. And so by the time it filters down to him, and then that lapse of time when he addresses it, it doesn't look right, according to some people. And some people are like, well, maybe he should have stopped, I'm talking about the apology, stop, really articulate what he wants to say, and then address it without it feeling polished by a PR team or, to where it sounds genuine, because that quote unquote apology, that there was something scripted. Lacking. It was lacking something. I'm like,
emotion.
I'm like,
true emotion.
Especially if I heard like a 9-year-old.
It's like
we're not even mentioning the hundreds of people who got injured and some had to be taken to the hospital. Like, we just don't know what's going to go on with them. And then you had the people who, they passed away there, or they passed away later in the hospital. Like, it's just, again, I don't know if he's just caught up in this machinery and he's just going through the process, but I mean, at some point, think about it. He has, I think right now is it over 200 lawsuits? It's growing. It's growing. So he's going to be stuck in court for this is going to drag out for years. And so how do you how do you still participate in a quote unquote machinery because you still have contracts that you're obliged to record label or and then how do you divorce yourself from you still have to deal with this as a human being. You have the artist and then you got the human being. And so I think he has a lot of reckoning with himself that he has to filter through.
But what if he can't, because this is all sacrifice stuff that he had to go through with whatever sacrifice ritual stuff like that.
I don't know. I'm not there yet on that conspiracy level. I'm not there yet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I know I'm looking at that at his past art and even with the, like I said, the advertising, the messaging he puts out, he kind of deals in that dark energy stuff and that will take a toll on you. It will change you, especially if you lean into it, which he seems to be doing, but I don't know. Time will tell.
I just want to see how this plays out because I know he's not posting anything. Kylie's not posting anything. So when they finally do, I wonder if they're going to get I think they're going to test the waters to see how much backlash they get and go from there.
Yeah, I just read something that Kylie's she's been calculating as far as what she puts out because she feels that it'll come off a certain way, especially if it's brand related. I'm like, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I think they're just too controlled by their whole media team and also it's they're not them. So whatever Travis Scott's apology, you can tell that's not him being genuine. It's it's all just not a stunt, but a image that they have to keep up with.
It's crazy, but then again, once you build yourself off of a brand, what do you expect?
Yep. And that's the thing; it's all about brands and images these days. The whole dark energy stuff. I know a lot of people have been on that for a lot of years, but it's now it's so mainstream and right in our faces. It's just
they don't even hide it. They don't even hide it anymore. I was who was I was looking at so I was looking up recent hip hop artists and what they're promoting. So I think Megan Thee Stallion had something where she dresses up like a devil. It's really?
Yeah, and then look at what she kind of promotes too. The whole what she does on stage, she normalizes it and stuff.
I don't follow her performance wise. What did she do?
She twerks, she's half naked, she's
as a female, I wouldn't, that's just me though. I wouldn't perpetuate, I wouldn't still perpetuate that stereotype, especially with Black women,
Because a lot of people already don't have as much respect for female rappers and stuff because they think that, the stuff they rap out girls shouldn't be talking about or being proud of and stuff like that. But it's it goes by morals and stuff. I personally would not be on stage half naked twerking and doing all this stuff, making that my brand. But a lot of people are but don't look at it weird like that. Just normalize it. But I don't think that's what we should be doing. I don't think that's the image. Yeah, they're trying to make everything accepted. Everything is okay. Not everything is okay. But I think that's just the media, the artists. You got the dark energy. You got the people trying to change morals and traditions and say you should do this, you should do that, it's okay. And that's the biggest influence of younger kids growing up. Then the next generation is going to be the way the next generation feel even stronger. They're gonna probably think of even crazier stuff to accept. But it's right there. That's why I feel everything is some type of they have to do it because it's their job to influence in some type of negative way.
Oh, there's definitely a movement. There's definitely a movement of anti-religious, I'm trying to say, it's almost like a spiritual war. It's almost like spiritual warfare right now. Stand up for any type of morality or whatever. People they try to paint you as old-fashioned. What? No. Yeah,
and it's not necessarily cool to not follow a religion or a spirituality, but they make it seem like you're lame if you try to preach something good off of a religious point of view. It's there's so many people my age and stuff. I mean, to each their own. That's their life, but they're atheists or as soon as someone brings up some type of spirituality or God or something, they're well, where was God when this happened? But it's when you have just a negative mindset on something tunnel vision, of course you're gonna. That's why it's so divided now. And then it's the cool thing to not believe in something majority wise.
Yeah, I found it interesting. The kids who were there saying that they didn't believe in God, but they found themselves praying in that moment. That they survived that. I'm I found it interesting.
Trying to fight that negative evil energy that was there.
So how do you think concerts are gonna proceed moving forward?
I do wonder if it might change concerts
I
somehow,
heard,
like
okay,
security wise.
I heard another, I think she's a conspiracy. I don't know. But she was how, like Facebook and Metaverse, how they're pushing now this whole like virtual reality thing on us. And so they'll take it. So she's like, yeah, I feel like this was taken, and they see the chaos with that, and now everyone's gonna be like, nope, I'm no longer going to a concert. I'm gonna do virtual reality. And then I know, right? I'm like, okay, it's a little far fetched, but you see this push. They're trying to push certain influences on people. It's like, why are you guys doing this? Like, why? And it looks so lame. Have you seen the virtual reality rooms at Mark Zuckerberg? It looks so lame. Like, I don't want to.
I have not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was lame.
I do know a lot of scientists and inventors. What they want to do is try to find a way to quote unquote live forever, this immortality. And so I think science. I can't think of his name right now. I should have looked it up before. But he quote unquote captured his memories and essence of who he was, and he put it into like an AI model. So this AI design, it sounds like a robot or something, but when you go and interact with it, it's almost like you're interacting with the person. So if the person, when he passes on, if you still want to talk, quote unquote, talk to him, you still have it. You still have the essence of who he is in this AI design. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to like find a way. But even with that, like if everyone's online virtually, like this virtual reality thing, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on in the background that we're not aware of. And it's like doing something, it's like doing something to us. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't trust this.
Yeah, I swear when it comes to like Mark Zuckerberg, all those people with these ideas and stuff, I don't trust it. They have their own little cult thingy going on. I do not trust it. It's like creepy stuff. Like I wouldn't even really be interested in it.
Mankind is still trying to be God, still trying to become immortal.
Yeah, they're trying to go to a level we don't need to go to. Just fix whatever we have going on already here, and then I think we can all just live perfectly fine. We don't have to go to Mars. We don't have to go do all these robotic stuff. Creepy stuff. They give me the creeps. They actually do.
Yeah, this whole thing. We want to go to Mars. No, you want to send wealthy individuals to Mars. The poor people are going to be stuck here on Earth. Let's call it what it is. Stop beating around the bush. Any last words you want to say?
No, this was a good convo. I think we covered everything like that I wanted to talk about, and like more that goes more in depth in it. I'm just curious to see how this goes. I think we touched on some good points though. And when we drop bangers like this, stuff of substance, they need to be aware.
You're so silly. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Tell your mom hi.
Okay. All right. We'll do.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Okay. Bye.
Hey, for those of you who want to vibe out with Cece, check out her YouTube channel called Awaken, spelled AWAYKENNED. Yes, it's spelled the way it's spelled. Again, AWAYKENNED. She gives great advice, she has a great personality, and she recently introduced a new character called OG, with a beeper and all. Yes, I know. Some of you are like, what's a beeper? Hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have Spotify? If so, turn on the notification button. You can also find the Conversation Piece podcast on Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, RadioPublic.com, Breaker.audio, and Anchor.fm/Akila Lynch, spelled AQUILA-LYNCH. Thank you for your support. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe, love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you.